Conversation continues here at KLRN Channel 9. Silvia Foster-Frau, the immigration reporter for the San Antonio Express News. Also from the Express News, investigative reporter Brian Chasnoff. Thank you for joining us. Silvia, you've been spending a lot of time on the border, and we're dealing with not only the influx of the Central Americans, which we've really been seeing for the past several years, but now we're seeing a United Nations of immigrants trying to get in through the southern border. The Eagle Pass sector has been inundated lately with immigrants from Central Africa. You've spent some time with the Border Patrol over there. How are they dealing with this, and how is this changing the entire face of immigration in Texas?
Yeah, well, I mean, like you're saying, so now we have people speaking all different languages, right, that are coming across. It's not just English and Spanish. You have Portuguese and French and indigenous languages. There's people from all different parts of Europe that are coming here. And they're putting a strain on the system. Eagle Pass erected tents outside one of their Border Patrol stations just to help with overflow so they can get people processed quicker. There's tents in Donna already, so we're seeing basically more of these tent cities, these kind of pop-up facilities to basically accommodate for the influx. And then we're seeing places like San Antonio that have centers that are being overwhelmed. You know, we had to open a center basically for all of these asylum seekers that once they're released at the border, then find their way through San Antonio and then from there kind of disperse throughout the country.
Wow, and obviously this is going to get much more difficult as the weather gets hotter. We're seeing triple-digit temperatures already this week. I gotta think that the border and the brush country are gonna become very dangerous places in the next couple of months.
Yeah, it's rough. There's a lot of parts of the border that are not hospitable environmentally for people that are coming across with no money, little food, and little water. Brooks County in Texas is one example. There's a lot of brush there, and they have a lot of migrant deaths, and the Sheriff's Department has its own team that actively works to rescue both people who are in danger and also remains of migrants.
And how much of this is being driven by the greed of the immigrant smugglers? I understand that they are actually actively seeking out business in the Congo and offering deals for people to come to the United States. This is a profit-driven enterprise, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there's a demand to get here, and when it's hard to get through ports of entry or you're waiting months on end in poverty on these towns in northern Mexico, oftentimes in neighborhoods that aren't safe, I think these migrants are desperate enough to, if they have money, they'll kind of do whatever it takes. So if that means, you know, going through a smuggler, that's what they're going to do. So you see people coming on rafts, in tractor trailers, I mean, you name it, and there is a business there for sure.
Brian, you played a big role in the just completed mayor's race with your outstanding reporting. What do you see moving forward now the election's over? We have a majority female city council for only the second time in the city's history, just sworn in this week. What do you see the opportunities and challenges that the new city council is facing in the next 2 years?
Well, I would hope they would learn from past mistakes. I think the Chick-fil-A debacle before the mayoral election was unnecessary. I think that was sort of a trap that certainly Mayor Nirenberg fell into, getting the culture war ramped up and allowing his opponent to use that to the mayor's disadvantage. So I'd call that a challenge, you know, avoiding similar situations and in making decisions, telegraphing to the public that these decisions are good for the city, and we're not a partisan body. You know, we're here for every resident in San Antonio.
Now, obviously, this was a very close election, one of the closest mayor's races ever. What does Mayor Nirenberg have to do now to reach out to the Brockhouse supporters who were very cynical about City Hall and were very cynical about the operations of City Council? What can the City Council do, and should it do, to reach out to those people who are San Antonians as well?
That's a very good question. You should have his new chief of staff on your show because I don't advise the mayor, so I'm not sure what to tell him other than it's going to be tough.
It will be. It'll be an interesting couple of years, though. Brian Chasnoff is the investigative reporter for the Express News. Also from the Express News, immigration reporter Silvia Foster-Frau. You're always very interesting. Thank you both for joining us today on The Conversation Continues.